way.
So my name is Talita Estrela. I come from Brazil, and I am the oldest child out of three.
Oh,
Um, my childhood actually was really nice. I have a great childhood, so I played a lot, my siblings. But there was one thing that actually I just realized it later, which actually had a great impact on the person that I am today. I am like a mixed child. I have a mom with bright skin color, and my father who has a heritage from Africa. But it turns out that we had more contact with my mother family, and I was the only one different from my cousins, from my sister, from my mom. But we didn't learn to talk about. My father would never bring this up. So for some reason, I was always trying to fit in a reality, although it was my family, my blood related family, but I couldn't see myself, identify myself. But I kept doing so, living as I could, the best as I could. I felt like something was missing. I was the only one with so short. Actually, that back that time, I used to straighten my hair just to feel like them, to be more identity with them. Uh, Another thing that happened to me when I was a child was that I grew up too quickly. So when I was 8 years old, I was using my first BH. So
oh.
I was a big girl. And
Maybe you can explain what beer is for some people who don't know what
I
that
don't know the
is.
name in English. Help me. A
Is it a
BH.
bra?
Bra.
Ah, okay.
Bra.
I had a feeling. Okay.
Thank you.
So when
And
you were, wait, you started when you were at what age?
eight, 8 years
Oh,
old,
wow.
I was
Yes,
using my first
yes, yes.
bra.
How was that for you in school?
For me, it was uncomfortable because actually I was already looking like a teenager, but I was a child. But
Yeah.
my father came to me and said, Talita, uh, you looks like you are turning 25. This was on my 12th birthday.
Wow.
My father, because I was so big and he didn't want to see me like running with the other children because the people would think that I had some problem.
Yeah.
So he kept cutting me and saying, no, if you look like you are an adult, you have to behave as an adult.
Oh, wow.
And then one day, actually, my father was really clever. I have no idea if he had this in mind when he called me and he asked me, I was 12 years old at that time, and he asked me if I wanted to go to Disneyland. And I said, yes, of course, father, of course I wanted to go to Disneyland. And then he said, okay, here's a book. Read this book. If you read the first chapter of this book, you are going to Disneyland. And I said, oh my God, this is amazing. We were back then, so like yeah, average class lower in Brazil. And I took that book and I read not only the first chapter, but the second, third. So I read as much as I could, and the book was really, really interesting. And I came back to my father saying, Father, I already read the book and what are the next steps? So to Disneyland. And Papa said, haven't you understood what I mean? So if you read this book and you do what this book is saying, you are going not only to Disneyland, but you are going everywhere. You will
Oh,
rest
wow.
the whole world. I'm just
I get
trying
it
to,
now.
you know.
Wow. What was the book about?
In Brazil, it's really hard to get into the university. Now it's easier, much easier than when I was so 18 years old.
Yeah.
And the test, the exam to get into the university was really, really hard. And then people
Yeah.
started to get ready for this so as much earlier as possible. And then I was 12, and the book was How to Pass the Exam, how to think faster, how to
Wow.
learn, how to be smarter.
That's a really good book for a 12-year
Yes,
old though.
yes, it's a
Wow.
really good book. But so I was 12 years old. What made me read and have the interest for the book was the fact that I thought I would go to Disneyland.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the end, in the first moment, of course, I got a bit frustrated and disappointed with my father. But when the time passed by, I could understand because I had the chance to apply what I read. I was still, when I was 12, after reading this book, I thought to myself, you know what? I will start working. I will start getting my own money. And I asked my father if he could give me some money to start a small business. Like I wanted to do some chocolates to sell in my
Oh,
school.
so your business venture started when you were younger.
Yes,
Now it makes sense.
yes, yes. Actually,
Yes.
this book, um, it was a game changer, you know. And I know that my father did that because he wanted to take me away from playing with the children because I was too big.
Ah, okay.
He
Were you
told me
just mature big or like big, big?
both.
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 Ah, okay.
I was
Okay.
big, so physically, and then my father helped me to get all so mentally mature. And he told me, if you are 12, but you look like you are 25, then you have to behave as 25. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You will read as
Yeah.
many books as I can give you to read, and I hope this will help you. So yeah, so somehow at the end was really nice because by the age of 12, I asked my father the money for to start doing my chocolates. And my father said, no, no way, Talita. I'm giving you money, you make a first batch, and then that's it. You sell it, and then we lose all the money, and there is no second batch. And then I tried to tell him that actually I learned from the books that no, I know how to keep the capital and for the next batch. And then he said, no way. Then I went to my grandma and I told her my plans of start working. And my grandma also was amazing. She made a big difference in my life that day because she took her purse and she just took a talon of checks and she gave me a blank check, only signed and her ID. She said, Talita, here you have a blank check. My ID is just one, so check. Make sure that you can find everything you need in one store. I remember so going to my bathroom with this blank check and thinking in my head, man, I can go to Disneyland. I
Yes, that
am
was a
not going
test.
to make any chocolates. I have a blank check that I can put here. So whatever amount of money in my head, of course, I was a child. I wasn't so thinking about my grammar and everything. But at the same time, I just felt like the Holy Spirit telling me, Talita, you cannot mess up with this big opportunity to show that actually you are a very reliable person. You are worthy to be trusted. You are
Yes, yes.
trustworthy. So, and then I said, no, this is I will take this chance to show my grandma, my father, and everybody around me, so that I am a reliable person. So,
Wow.
long story short, I made bonbons, so chocolates in school for 3 years. My father never
Wow.
gave me money again for my own stuff.
Wow. From 12 years old.
Yes, so from 12 till 15, everybody in the school knew it. So that I used to sell
You
those
were the
chocolates.
chocolate girl.
Yes, I was the chocolate girl for example, Valentine's Day or some special Mother's Day.
Wow.
I was having so very cute um, packaged
Oh,
with homemade chocolates. And whenever I wanted to buy something special, for example, I remember one day I wanted to do some to buy a pair of shoes. I made the math. So how many chocolates I have to sell this week to buy this shoe?
Wow.
It was much more than I used to sell in school. So I made a big batch, put on a basket, and I just walked all the main avenues on my city, selling to people. So it was really a nice experience.
So how you say that's something that made you see yourself different. How has this impacted your life and how you moved on from childhood?
I learned to be actually, when I was 7 years old, I was kind of going in this bitter pathway because of being so different. I was tall, the tallest girl. I was too big. I was not a child when I was still a child, and everything was like bothering me a lot. And then there was one day that we were in a birthday of a cousin where I used to get all the children stuff. So, and that day, I don't want to so extend too much this story, but that day I heard for the very first time the Holy Spirit telling me, Talita, are you not can you not see you are special? Actually, you are special. After hearing that, I start living my life in a very more optimistic way. Everything that would happen to me that I would feel like less or different or not included or something like that, I would just thinking, I don't care. I know I am special. I know
Yeah.
I am different for a reason. And so my mom used to straighten my hair since I was 2 years old. And I can understand. She wants me to feel part. But when I was 17, this was when I said, you know what? From now on, I made braids. I will do something different. Yeah, so this was something, it was the first time that I start facing who I really am. It was in this age from 16 to 18, but it was not easy for me because I needed
Yeah.
to redesign my whole identity.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yes, so actually I cried a lot. It was not easy, but God kept, teaching me like, Talita, what is important in this life? It's not to have a long hair. It doesn't matter actually. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. I know that many women, and I can understand, it's also part of a woman identity to feel this power in the hair.
Yeah.
But God told me, don't worry, you have different ways to explore your power. So, actually, I just stopped putting chemical stuff in my hair 3 years ago when I got married with a man that he said, Talita, no more chemical stuff in your hair. Let your hair be as it is. And it's beautiful. And I love your hair. So,
I love your hair too. It's really thick. I love the afro.
thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. And for me, there are so much freedom. There is so much freedom in this. It's really hard to explain because I
Short
can.
hair is amazing.
Yes, and actually, it demands a lot of authenticity. It demands a lot of
Yes.
self-confidence. So
Yes,
hair,
yes.
not only a short hair, but a
An
black power
afro.
hair.
Definitely, yes. It tells a story as well. Like if you
Yes.
tell someone I'm from Brazil, they cannot put you in a box because normally they would expect someone in the Brazilian hair. I own Brazilian hair. I bought a
Yeah.
lot. I bought it a lot of money. When you hear someone is from Brazil, you imagine,
You
flowy
wig, you
hair.
mean?
We pay so much money for this hair. So if someone says I'm from Brazil and they have an afro, now you're like, what's your story? I'm really interested to know. So that's really, really amazing.